Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, welcome back to another high level game of StarCraft 2. Today we have two polar opposites playing against one another, as in the bottom left, playing for Team Kaisi Gaming, it's going to be Spirit. And in the top right, as our Red Protoss player, it is the man that always has a plan, and that plan usually involves moving across the map and killing his opponent. It's of course going to be Prince, playing for Team GP. Now the beauty of Prince is that he is not quite like the other aggressive players in that he's also capable of playing a macro game. So often he'll get in a kind of a wonky position, a weird game, and he can actually kind of play it out from there. He is a 6.4, 6.5k MMR player on the Korean ladder. He is just a very, very solid player that happens to love aggression, aggressive styles. He is basically the dialed up version of Hero, is what I kind of... yeah, he's not so much a dialed down version of Haas, he's more just a way more aggressive hero. Someone that knows how to play standard, someone that can play late games, but just likes taking risks in the early and the mid game and likes attacking a whole lot as well. Now, Spirit, of course, is the exact opposite. Spirit is a player that's known for having world records in orbital commands in the late game. He starts building them really early as well. He loves being capable of scanning, muling every single base. He is someone that just likes getting into these long late game fights. So we'll have to wait and see exactly how that will turn out for him here. As we have a good old Prince just trying to block that command center for as long as possible right now. And we see Spirit, well, not getting his CC down quite yet. He's struggling a little bit with it. 148, that is almost a 10-second delay. It's extremely long. Not quite sure how that's possible, but it does end up happening. Reactor starts immediately after the Marine finishes up, and that means we'll be looking at some type of heavier Marine production, at least initially. Of course, a factory can still go down, and looking by the gas, there still will be a factory. Or, yep. There could be a follow-up with a Hellion, could be a follow-up with a Widow Mine drop. It could be a Hellion into a Widow Mine drop. There's just a lot of possibilities right now. On the other hand, we do have Prince chronoing out that first Stalker, and I want to see what tech he's building. We'll open up with a Twilight Council here. So, could be some type of aggressive blink, could also just be a defensive blink into like a 2-gate expand, something along those lines. It is a build order that we see very, very often. As this Twilight Council is being built right now. Third base would be over here. Yeah. Ooh, actually, robotics facility. Okay. Robotics facility before blink is an interesting thing here. This will delay the blink, but it allows for A, faster observers, B, a quick prism if you want to, but also something like a dark shrine is of course a possibility. And I think one will just end up falling. Yep, the other Marine does manage to hide into the bunker. We'll have to wait and see what his actual plan is going to be right now. Whether that is going to be that DT drop, or if we're still going to see some type of delayed blink. This really would indicate, in my mind at least, that he wants to go for some type of aggression, because why else would you rush out that robo so quick if you don't want to open up with some type of aggression? Observer first, yep, there we go. Then he's still gonna get a Nexus here. And a pylon as well, I assume, because otherwise he's going to get pretty darn supply blocked. It does get both of these. I think I just heard a Chrono Boost go down. Yep, Chrono Boost on the blink. It's an interesting little build order here. We'll just have to wait and see what his actual plans. It might just be that he wants to get a couple of observers out. It is of course a viable opener as well, getting observers out. Nothing wrong with that. At the same time, Spirit is moving across the map with his two mines. Had a Hellion spot the fact that there is a third base as well. So that is some very valuable information. Now, because of the delayed blink, it means that this blink will not be in time. It also means that if these Stalkers are not in the correct positions, I believe that Terran is going to be in a very good spot. You should get to drop the mines, you get to force the probes off the line. Oh, Spirit straight away just... kind of boosting into those Stalkers is of course not what he wants. Matter of fact, takes a bunch of damage as well. She was a little bit slow in the response. And I think, honestly, this opener for Prince is fabulous. Good start. Not a single worker has gone down. Prince is well aware of what's happening on the other side of the map as well, because actually Observer has not gone into the main yet, but could figure that out at some point in the near future. These two mines chilling in the medevac, of course, could go back later into the game, try and deal some damage. We still have these 3 stalkers left in the main base, could blink under it at any given point as well. And Prince is going to start moving across the map. This is a move that I really like, and the reason why I like this is for 2 reasons actually. One, it allows you to get some information on where the Terran army is, and 2, it kind of telegraphs to the Terrans like, hey, I'm on your side of the map with stalkers. Maybe you want to go into my main base with this medevac. And the moment Spirit goes in the main base with the medevac, 4 stalkers are waiting, the medevac will get 2-shot. And just like that, the game kind of, well, doesn't end, but the game turns heavily into Prince's favor. So we'll have to wait and see whether Spirit actually is keen on doing just that. For now, he seems to be happy just staying at home. Of course, 3 stalkers is very little. If this was like 5 or 6 stalkers, I think the likelihood of Spirit kind of biting the bait would be a lot bigger. 4th base is being thrown down right now, as well as a war prism. This seems to me like it's going to be a 3 gas, 8 gate-ish. Yeah, that does look like 8 gates. An 8 gate attack. Now at this point, Prince says, hey, I actually want to start moving out. I know you don't have stim yet. I know you don't have combat shield either. I want to see if I can deal some damage. And I think Prince might just be capable of dealing a little bit of damage. His worker count is very little. His +1 is not quite done yet. That is frustrating for him. He also is going to get spotted in this move out. Spirit. Do we get the trigger here? No trigger yet on this mine drop. No trigger on this mine drop. Lots of zealots being warped in right now. Tank unsieges for some reason. That is going to cost Spirit for sure. No shots out of that tank. Is there still a tank somewhere else? No, there isn't. None of these units having stim is extremely painful, obviously. And Prince, with a very aggressive push on a low worker count, is going to take out 11 workers of his opponent. A bit of a lag spike here, it seems like. As a +1 combat shield and stim will finally finish up. 43 workers here for Spirit as well. And Prince already up to 4 bases. Gets a second forge. And also gets a robotics bay. Kind of showing the intention to wanting to transition into a longer game. Now, of course, he still has the potential to try and deal some more damage. I would not really recommend attacking into this position, though, with an army that is going to be, well, a little bit smaller. Oh, this drop, mine drop. Oh my god, it got 11 kills here. That's actually kind of a big deal. This game, was it this one or was it the one over here? It must have been one of the two, honestly. Well, it wasn't this one, so it must have been the other one. Cool little move. I did not notice that medevac moving all the way around. Getting 11 kills is the only thing that currently keeps Spirit into the game. He's also going to opt for a 4 medevac drop towards the main base to try and get some damage. And he really needs that. At the same time, though, Prism is entering his own main base. A little bit supply block here as well. After dropping that depot, still almost supply block, immediately starts up 2 more depots. Well, 4 medevacs are going to unload, but there's just so many Protoss units here. And I think that these medevacs with the contents are going to be taken out before they get to escape. Yep, every single medevac will get taken out. The trade isn't necessarily bad, not necessarily super cost inefficient here for Spirit, but if we take a look at the income here, Prince is just mining way more. And in that way, it is bad for Spirit that this trade happened, because the only thing Spirit really had was some vision on the map, or some map control. He was allowed to be out on the map, and now I'm not so sure if he's still allowed to be out on the map. So these zealots are going to be taken out. Prism barely manages to stay alive with, what is it, 5 HP. We get that recall with 1 zealot in it as well. Still have a double mine drop at the top side as well, the top left side. Another double mine drop is going to head in towards the main base. The one thing that Prince is missing right now is vision. All 3 observers are at the same spot. They're moving out kind of like a team here. That's obviously not entirely what you want. You want these guys split up to maximize your vision. Here comes a drop straight into a cannon. Same time drop in the main base. So yes, there we go. Drop in the main base as well. 1, boom. Maybe I can pick up 1 more. No, he cannot. Wouldn't have minded if he would have dropped 1 in the main and 1 in the natural with that dropping machine. Going to end up dropping this one. I don't actually think it's gonna go down. No, it's not. There's no observer with this either. All 3 are just going to get F2'd back home. Kind of sloppy here, honestly, out of Prince, this defense so far. He's still in a really good position. There's bunkers being built. 4CC just now going down, while the 5th base is already building here for Prince. So this mine should be capable of dealing a little bit more damage. I think if Spirit really wants to, there's a way to put it in a position where it can shoot once at least. And Prince for some reason has not seen this mine yet. Okay, now he sees it. Warps in 2 Stalkers. And I don't think that mine is actually gonna get another shot off. Does not seem... Oh, there we go. It's 2 workers. Stalkers do end up blinking away, so that's nice. At the same time, the observers do start and establish a little bit of map vision. Prism starts moving towards the bottom right side. Warps in 4 zealots here. I would not mind the Dark Shrine. Yep, there we have it. I think I already saw that. And we also are on 8 gas, going up to 10 gas. So warping in DTs is going to be not too expensive, as there's a lot of gas available. If you're playing DTs off of like 6 gas or 7 gas, it often can be difficult to afford the DTs while also affording your other gas unit, like your Stalkers, your Disruptors, because let's face it, you really do want to start adding a couple of Disruptors into this army at this point. Spirit is just sitting back right now, not quite sure what he wants to do in this game, I can only imagine, because it is not so clear what the path forward is here for our Polish Terran player. I mean, he is stuck on 3 bunkers on 3 bases against a 10 gas Protoss player who has a Prism set up. Really, the only thing still lacking is still kind of that map vision. No pylons on the left side, no real pylons on the right side either. Now, we do have a couple of observers sprawled around the map. Oh, that's a dead medevac. If Prince is paying attention. Prince is not paying attention, and that medevac will stay alive. Spirit managed to... escape a very bad situation there, luckily for him. Now this Liberator is going to get a couple of kills, perhaps 1 Stalker kill total, 2 worker kills. It's not the end of the world, but it's also not the greatest trade that he was hoping for. Ideally, you hope the Protoss is not paying attention, loses like 15 workers, then maybe you have a game. But right now, I'm not so sure. Yeah, not having any vision here on the right side might actually end up costing Prince in a big way. This drop is... just straight up queued into this 5th base. That's a shift click if I've ever seen one. And that means that it gives a warning sign the moment you start attacking like that. I much would have preferred an unload over here and then running in trying to kill 8-9 workers. Could have been a pretty decent trade. Big zealot run by heading towards the 3rd base, but tanks as well as a bunker in position. We have this Prism that's going to get cleaned up. This zealot run by is going to get like 6-7 workers, but the moment Spirit moves them back... yeah, there we go. Okay, it's getting a little more than ideally I would have liked to see. This base might just end up dying, actually. Liberator's not in position yet. Don't think there's enough Stalkers though for a blink forward. Yeah, there's not. Also not enough Disruptors to truly zone out this army. I think Spirit might want to try and kill this army as well that's here on the right side. I mean, it is a small army. Only has a single Disruptor. Spirit has a decently sized army, honestly. He can do something here. He's getting spotted with every move. There's just a lot of observers around here. Prince also finally getting some of that unit spread, allowing him to see a lot of things on the side. That's good. Yeah, that's real good. Viking still idling in the dead space. Another zealot run by gets sent in. This time Spirit is going to respond a little bit quicker. Good EMPs on the main army as well here at the same time. Oh, Disruptor shot's not quite going to connect. This zealot run by is going to get cleaned up. At the same time, this Liberator that we see on the minimap still trying to move into position, but yeah, it's not going to happen. I'm surprised we're seeing vehicle weapons level 2 over ship weapons. Feels like the tank damage output is going to be a lot less relevant in these fights than Viking damage output and Liberator damage output, right? You get +2, you start 2-shotting Stalkers, 1-shotting Stalkers after EMP. Like, that's a very big deal in these fights, but having the tanks defensively add a little bit of damage, I don't think it's going to matter. I don't really ever see these tanks moving across the map either, so yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it. This is a good DT warp in. This DT warp in will most likely kill a base, I will say. I think it's yeah, no, this is going to take out the base. It's too many Dark Templar. It's 10 of them, if I'm counting correctly, and I am counting correctly. So with 3 volleys with +3, you should be capable of taking out this planetary. Or is that with 11? Never so sure. I always just built 11 for safety. We do have a tank here as well. And I guess the extra damage is helping out in this type of scenario, but so with the extra damage of the lip. We have a blink in. Okay, I think with 10 you need like one more shot basically. And there's not even building armor yet. So you definitely need 11 if there's building armor. Because you already need 11 if there's no building armor. Single Liberator actually managed to deal some damage this time around though. The worker count is falling. It sucks that that base ended up dying. If this planetary hadn't fallen, like we're actually looking at a somewhat even game here. The only real problem that Spirit still has in that case is the fact that he doesn't have any map control. That he's kind of stuck sitting back. He is moving into ship weapons right now. Also into that vehicle plating, which might be important. Carriers are out. And that sometimes allows a Terran back into the game with Viking production. We have a couple of TTs moving towards the left side, but they should not be capable of doing anything here. Absolutely not. Stalker carrier army right now. Just kind of chilling over here. Probably wanting to push in towards this base. The DTs move in together with the Zealots. The bunker is actually paying dividends here. At the same time, some mining denial on this, what is it, the 5th base. 10 workers go down again, but still Spears on 64 workers. This is where his ability to build command centers might just be paying off. Would love to see, well, he can't really afford any extra CCs at this point, can he? No, he really can't. He's just a little bit too poor. Does not have the worker count, does not have the base set up. Also isn't that useful if you only have like 3 mineral lines remaining. Nuke being built here. Could have, could have some influence on the outcome of this game. If Prince decides to walk into it. This is an interesting blink forward. I'm not a huge fan of it. As these Vikings are moving in position, we'll get the target down on at least one of these carriers. One will go down. Second one being targeted as well. Second one will go down. A couple of EMPs on a lot of these interceptors. As a third carrier will also fall. And all of these interceptors are down. Recall gets used. Big disruptor shot is going to hit the entire Terran army here. Sloppy control out of Spirit, honestly. But will clear every single disruptor left on the map. So it's a good fight. But it should have been a way better fight. That one disruptor hit really was not necessary whatsoever. But it did end up landing, and that is painful. 3 more ghosts are on the way here. The disruptor count is practically non-existent. These carriers don't look so strong. Prince's army is actually quite crap right now. This might allow for Spirit to finally start building his own masterful army. And with a little bit of luck, actually deal some damage. Oh, look at this ghost. He's going in. He's going in for the kill. Might actually get it as well. I don't think that ghost got spotted whatsoever. It should have been spotted because this observer was here. Oh, it's going to run by. Is Prince paying attention? He's not paying attention. Prince should hear the nuclear missile detected right now, but rather than checking where it's landing, just going to be microing his own army. Look at this. He's not checking any of the bases. He's going to be losing a lot of stuff over here if he's not paying attention. Yep. 13 workers going down. At the same time, though, he's moving in. He's moving through. These Vikings will get a pretty decent engagement. We'll start taking out these carriers, but there's just not enough ground. There's not enough bio right now. If there was 20, legit 20 more supply of bio, I think this fight would have been a complete win here. We have a lot of ghosts in the main base, but no marauders, making it difficult. Oh. Good cloak there, as I don't think there's any observers with this army. Disruptor still try to hit. If there's like 6-7 more marauders in this army, I think he actually wins this fight. Well, not with the reinforcements now arriving as well. There's still no observers available. And that means that these ghosts will be capable of, well, at least shooting for a little bit longer. Disruptor might try and hit some of these ghosts. Does not quite seem to be the case. Yeah, there's actually not enough damage output here. These 4 ghosts are not going to be capable of fighting this entire army. Taking so long to deal with even a single stalker. This is not a TVZ. 4 ghosts cannot take out an entire army. Yeah, this is just looking very, very painful right now for Spirit. Honestly, the fights he's been taking have not been too bad. He's been behind in supply a lot of the time as well. And the fights he has been taking were actually kind of good for him, given that his army often wasn't exactly what he wanted it to be. He's still on 2-2. Oh my god. He's been having fights like this, being down 2 upgrades the entire time. I did not notice that he did not research that whatsoever. Oh, imagine what could have been. Imagine what could have been had he just upgraded. Even now the resources lost is even, and it's just the fact that Prince has been mining so much. is the only real reason that Spirit lost, or at least I thought that was the only reason, but apparently he also didn't get 3-3, and that is going to be a very big reason, honestly. Oi, 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 oi. How frustrating for Spirit. And he's not realizing yet. I just hope he never figured it out. Then at least he can still tell himself that Protoss is in balance, rather than him forgetting 3-3, actually costing him the game. I remember one game once on King's Jong Station between Grubby and Happy, like a 40-minute game or so, in which Grubby forgot the thermal lens for his Colossi. The entirety of the game was the closest game. He realized real quick, and that was absolutely a very sad moment. Obviously, this is an interesting fight here. Once again, without the level 2 ship weapons, these Stalkers are just going to be more effective against the Liberators than they usually would be. Spirit still is making a very good fight out of it, but there's just too much income at this point. For Prince, well, actually. Yeah, okay, the right side base gets taken out as well. There's an orbital flying over there right now. But yeah, there's too much bank. There's too much bank, there's too many bases. There is some, I bet, some oversaturation going on somewhere. Yeah, there we go. It feels like these workers could be divided a little more evenly. Prince is taking some weird engagements here. He's like up 40 supply, and then he starts right-clicking a planetary with his entire army. Like, he should not be losing fights, being up 25, 30 army supply against an army that is way inferior as well. Let's not forget, I mean, this is a disruptor army against no liberators, no tanks, not a sufficient marauder force either. Like, this is a bad army here for Spirit. Spirit is going to lose this base, will force a base raid. He's trying his absolute best. He's trying, but he's not succeeding in getting the damage that he needs. Now, I love to see it though, this fighting spirit, the grit that he has, the need to come back. It's actually going to force a base trade out of this, but I mean, once this planetary falls, actually, is this possible? There's no DTs here. Tank siege it up on the high ground, perhaps. If you can get the tank siege up on the high ground, you go into your opponent's production. No, Spirit. Oh my god, he gets every single snipe so far. Loses a bunch of marauders at this point, though. This is all the marauders. If he takes out EMP. Oh, he didn't see there was DTs. Oh no. If he had scanned there randomly, it might have actually been possible. Nah, it would have been hard still. There's just too much money. Too many gateways. How many gates are we on? Holy crap. 12 gateways. Yeah. Nah, that was a little bit too much. There was Tempest out as well. He made it way closer than it ever should have been, though. Yeah, that's going to be it for me today. Thanks all so much for watching. Pretty sick game, if you ask me. Spirit, after a terrible early game, almost makes the comeback, but not quite. And yeah, that's going to be it. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.